Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. The Hawks did something a little weird this past season. They fired their coach mid-season. That's not the weird part. But then they hired a coach in season in Quin Snyder. They went out, they took initiative. They grabbed probably the best guy on the market at the time. But now it makes a lot more sense because not only did the Hawks look a lot better, Quin Snyder got an idea of how his guys play, what works, what doesn't. And then beyond that, you got all these other jobs. Like it was just a firing. The last week has just been filled with big names getting fired. There's now all of a sudden all of these much more attractive destinations open. And Philly might be open with Doc Rivers, Milwaukee, Phoenix. There's a lot of attractive destinations where Quin Snyder probably would have been the top candidate. And I don't think he was going to pick Atlanta over one of those teams.
Yeah, I think it's the last 5 coach of the years have been fired. Monty Williams, Budenholzer, Frank Vogel with the Lakers.
Snyder, right?
And there was one more. The only one remaining is Tom Thibodeau in New York.
Nurse.
And, Nick Nurse. I think Thibs is the only one out of the last 5 years that's still there. And yeah, you hit it right on the head. I don't know if he would have chosen the Hawks. You look at the Suns and Bucks; those teams were in the finals, 2-3 years ago, and yeah, those are really attractive openings. You talk about the opportunity to coach. Trae Young's great, but you talk about Giannis, you talk about KD. Those are the cream of the crop.
We love Trae Young, but nobody in their right mind is picking Trae Young over Giannis, Devin Booker, and KD. I mean, there's just no way. And I think a factor that probably goes into it is maybe, Quin Snyder was promised personnel, decision-making power, real legitimate power, and that may be attractive to him in Atlanta, whereas the other cities, they might not be because they are, they're still good teams. They were all in the finals within the past 3 years. So it's a great look for the Hawks. I'm eager to get going, but yeah, what a brutal world. Budenholzer just won a finals. Monty Williams just got there. This is terrible for these guys.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And I really think the Hawks got a huge break doing this. And I think that they're going to look like geniuses for doing this because I really like what I saw of Quinn. I think he is probably a top 5 coach in the – if not top 5, he's a top 10 coach in the NBA. I think he's a really good offensive coach, which is what Trae Young was really needed and the rest of these guys. So I think they nailed this hire. And I think it would have been really hard to do any better had they waited to the end of the season. And not only that, you would have had to have this trial period of what works, what doesn't for the next first half of the season. And who knows? We could have ended up with Doc Rivers. I might have just wanted – I might have cried. It would have been the worst thing ever because, that would have been a narrative. Doc Rivers coming back home to where he was the point guard of the Hawks to coach another star point guard. Like, no, please don't do that to me. Please don't do that to me. So I think the Hawks ended up making out like bandits on this one. I think they –
You talk about the Atlanta choking in big spots narrative just growing. Oh, my gosh, I would have thrown up.
I don't even know.
That's worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario. And yeah, to your point,
could have been a Coach Bud reunion.
Yeah, to your point.
Oh gosh, that might be worse.
We've got staffs to fill. So if Bud wants to come home and work under the prodigy, I'd welcome it. Anyway, back to the Quin Snyder thing. I think that trial run that you just mentioned, Chase, is going to be so underrated. We're going to see. I'm not going to say sweeping changes, but there will be major personnel changes this offseason. And it's all because Quinn got his hands on it. And he's like, what does this feel like? Who do I like? Who can I push? Who do I need to be a little lighter on? Who fits our ethos? Another good word. What do we need?
I also think it's going to be interesting because he is going to be making those decisions. So we're really going to see what he did like and what he didn't like. We all kind of had our assumptions like, oh, I think Clint Capella should be gone. Like ball stoppers like that. John Collins, like DeAndre Hunter, how does he feel about him? We're really going to find out because I think all of these pieces, if you are tradable in some form, I don't think you're going to get much back, but I do think you can rid of contracts. But we'll see what he likes. I think that's what is exciting to me. What does Quinn like? Yeah. What doesn't he like? And we're about to see. We saw the first
ready
part
to dive into some free agents. Yeah, I've already started some articles on the site. Check them out. We're going to do some free agents. I love Bruce Brown. That's my number one guy right now. I might change my mind, but I'd love to have Bruce Brown.
Yeah, and as always, as we wrap up this episode, please follow us at Sports Talk ATL. All of our handles for our Twitters are down below. Sports Talk ATL, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. All our videos are up there, all our segments. And check out the site, sportstalkatl.com. We're 10, 15 articles a day, tons of content, videos, everything. So thank you guys for joining us again tonight. We will be back on Monday tomorrow.